If you have a young child, probably a son, that is challenged with the label ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, as they call it, and they're just driving themselves crazy and driving you probably crazy too, and they're running around and doing things, just know that they have a set of values already in their life, a set of priorities in their life. And if you look really, really closely, somewhere in their life that's truly meaningful and inspiring and really priority to them, they're focused. And if we identify what that is and identify what they value most and link other daily activities in their job description or their career, their schooling description, their classes, to whatever that is, they're more engaged and they'll stabilize it. Their amygdala will calm down, their executive function will start to override the amygdala's response. I had a boy that came into my office many years ago, and he was running back and forth, running back and forth, just hyperactive, boom, 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 boom. And the mother was just used to it. It was just very distracting for me. I was trying to talk to the mother and running back and forth. And so I turned to the mother and I said, go to a moment where your son is focused and engaged in something and quiet and really engaged. Not about to go to sleep, but just while during a day. Yeah, when he's playing with his trains. He loves trains. Yeah, he loves trains. And so I stopped the kid. He's running back and forth. I said, what's the longest train you've ever seen? And he stopped right from the running, stopped. Wow, about 250 cars. I said, how many of those were flatbed cars? How many of those were tanker cars? How many were those box cars? How many were there carrying cars? How many were there engines? And how many for the caboose? And he sat and he goes, And he thought about it. And I kept asking him questions. What countries were these cars coming from? What languages are on there? Do you know the languages? And he goes, no. He says, I want you to do this exercise for me. And I asked his mom, take him down to where the ship channel is there, because this was in Houston, Texas. And I said, there's a train going along there. I want him to go there, and I want him to, next time the train goes, find out when the train goes by there, take him there. And I want you to do a project for me. I want you to count all the number of cars, how many were each of the type of cars, what country and what language each of the cars were. I want you to give me the mathematical ratio of how many cars to flatbed cars to box cars to everything else. So we'll practice math, we'll practice social ideas in the sense of the global geography. We'll look at how many cars there are and where they're coming from and where they're going. And I got this kid engaged, and the mother was there with him. And while he was doing something he was really fully engaged in, he didn't have hyperactivity. He was focused. So before you just label the child and stick them on Ritalin or whatever, which I'm not saying is terrible, what that is sort of like a norepinephrine material to give them a feeling that they're getting fulfillment. If you go and find out what really does engage them, they will have their executive center come down and start to activate and calm down and govern the amygdala and calm it down. Many times that child, if it does what it really is inspired to do, something that's deeply meaningful, and link whatever classes are to that and link whatever activities are to that, the child will calm down naturally from this hyperactive state. I've seen it over and over again. And I watched this child change his life. Because the mother, instead of making him wrong and saying you need to not do your toys and your cars and because in his room he had pictures of trains, he had models of trains, he had magazines of trains, he had pictures of trains. Everything was train, 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 train. That was his life. He wanted to be in the trains. He wanted to own a train. Everything else was frustrating. Think about this: when you're having to do something you really don't want to do, you get fidgety, frustrated, distracted, etc. And you get either hyperactive or hypoactive. And this is exactly what this child was doing. The second the child was dedicated to doing something they really loved to do, the symptoms of hyperactivity calmed down, the amygdala calmed down, and the executive center that is not even myelinated in this young boy was already starting to develop it and start to do it. If you use the executive center and do something that's contemplating what you really love to do and what's meaningful to you, you calm down the amygdala's hyperactivity. So, no doubt that that's something that can help the child. Find out where they are focused. Find out where they're doing something they love to do. Give them permission to go and fulfill some of that. And then make sure, because sometimes when they're doing video games, they can do it for hours in total focus. or they're doing a sport, hours for it. Find out what it is that they love. Link whatever you know you want them to do. See, if we communicate what we want for our child in terms of what they want, they're less likely to be hyperactive. But if they can't see how what they're doing in school or in their chores is helping them get what they want, they're going to get more into the amygdala as a compensation for the unfulfillment. I just wanted to share that because it can help make a difference in your child and calm it down, calm the child down by giving them an opportunity to do something that's meaningful that they love doing. And I don't mean just go out and play. I mean something that's meaningful. Find out what that is. Target and care about your child and find out what that target is, what that specific thing is, and watch what happens. Link everything to it and give them the opportunity to do it, because there's many children that are labeled that once they get engaged, they excel. And sometimes that's where some of the most powerful people come from. So it's not necessarily a terrible thing. So give yourself permission to love your child enough to communicate whatever it is that they're engaged in. Communicate all the things that you would love for them to do in terms of that. Watch what happens.